I have been an Oyster fanboy since I've roamed their fine yachts on my first boat shows almost 10 years ago. I learned to admire their combination of practical usability, absolute focus on seaworthiness, practicability and long-haul capable cruising, paired with lush luxury and the finest selection of materials. This video will show the full production at Oyster Yachts in Wroxham, UK, and how is an Oyster built anyway? I flew to London Stansted and took a taxi to Wroxham, located some 150 kilometers northeast of the airport, which is an almost 2 hours drive. Being greeted by Oyster Group Sales and Marketing Director Richard Gibson, we start our tour right away at the Wroxham main site. At first, I'm shown the internal design office where more than 10 naval architects, designers and engineers work. What's so special about Oyster is the fact that every boat exists in digital form, but far beyond anything I have seen so far in terms of CAD models. It takes several thousands of hours to generate these digital models. I also gather a look onto the digital model of Oyster's brand new boat, the new 515. We then proceed by car to the nearby lamination facility. In a small village called Ashmanor, every Oyster hull and deck is produced. What I find particularly interesting, I'm allowed to show everything. Not a single of my nearly 600 pictures I will shoot for the blog, and none of the film material you can see here in the video will be sorted out afterwards. As with any other glass fiber boat as well, an Oyster starts with an empty mold. Usually the inside of these molds is green, so that any imperfections in the mold can be detected before lamination starts during refurbishment. Next to this freshly polished and prepared mold, another one is in full process of lamination. Oyster prefers to choose the best production method for each of the yacht's parts. That said, hulls and decks here at Oyster are built utilizing the skilled craftsmanship of master boat builders in hand lamination. This makes sure that maximum strength and lamination quality is achieved. In this, the laminate is hand-laid and hand-rolled, following a strict layout plan developed by the structural engineers back in the design office. The bottom part is a full solid monolithic laminate with a foam core laminate on the ship's sides. In the back of the lamination hall is the workplace where the individual mats of the glass fibers are cut to size. The production manager shows a number of different glass fiber types utilized to make up an Oyster's hull and deck. Unidirectional fibers, so-called chopped strand mats, and mats of continuously woven fibers in different angles and thicknesses. Each of those have their specific properties, utilized in pre-planned areas and numbers of layers. As for vacuum infusion, this is only used where it makes sense and really contributes to the later properties of the hull. Girders and stringers, for example, are vacuum-infused parts, which are purpose-built by a specialist in an adjoining workshop. 2 large working tables enable the boat builders to custom make any specific part when needed. Just a few hours before I arrived, a freshly made Oyster deck had just been demolded. A crew of 3 GRP specialists are performing an initial quality control. For this specific deck, the owner had asked for a self-tacking jib, which is usually not provided for this Oyster type. But they have designed it, constructed the parts, and here you can clearly see the mounting area for the self-tacking traveler. Oyster has very intricate and complicated deck designs with lots and lots of rounded shapes, steps and details. It's absolutely beautiful to look at, but very complicated to produce. Usually, boat builders intend to keep the decks as simple as possible to minimize deck mold complexity and possible areas of defects. The underside of the deck is also interesting. Looking at the recesses, air and wiring ducts, I can also differentiate structural elements like L-beams and other reinforcements. Truly, this may be one of the most complicated decks I've ever seen in any shipyard I've visited. Arriving back at Wroxham, Richard leads me through one of the big workshops. Each building lot is occupied, which means that the shipyard runs at full capacity. But Oyster had indeed its own hard times not so long ago. That is why safety and production quality adhering to highest standards is of utmost importance here. Maybe this is the reason why Richard shows me the keel mounting section first. Each keel is fitted meticulously. He points out to the thickness of the laminate in the keel flange areas and other safety-related structural points of interest. Look how thick the laminate is down here in the hull. Never ever shall a keel come off or should an oyster suffer from catastrophic structural damage. After hull and deck are laminated, the keel and other appendages are attached, the other structural parts are incorporated to the hulls. These are mainly the bulkheads, which at Oyster are either thick special boat building plywood bulkheads or foam cored composite parts. All are laminated to the hull. Same goes for the complicated and intricate maze of girders, the bracket structures, stringers and frames. All are laminated to the hull to later form a strong, stiff and reliable backbone for the yacht. Each Oyster comes with 2 front collision bulkheads, watertight and especially secured. There is no margin for playing around in blue water cruising. In the meantime, the deck will also be prepared for the later marriage with its corresponding hull. Richard shows a deck in progress, currently parked outside the workshop. As for the fine wooden deck, Oyster imports plantation-grown real teak from India that is put on deck by master boat builders in the traditional way, batten by batten. Speaking of wooden parts, after the structurally relevant parts are installed, it's time for the joinery. And this is a very own Oyster specialty for sure. We wander through Oyster's material storage. The smell here is awesome. A scent of freshly cut teak and Lebanese cedars in the air. The sound of cutting and sanding machines vibrates. Everything is done in-house here. And in fact, the choices for Oyster owners are literally boundless. Where other brands mainly offer 2 or 3 kinds of different types of timber, at Oyster you are not only free to choose the type, but also the cut, the style and the grain, its orientation within the boat. Every wish can be made come true here. It's amazing. Oyster utilizes both state-of-the-art joinery with CNC machines and the good old handcraft. Where possible, the furniture is produced in small units like cupboards, the saloon seating or the beds, but not in full modules as it is the case for all series production boats. This is manufacture style, not mass production. The level of attention to detail is just breathtaking. Zooming in on many of the furniture parts reveals smaller and bigger details which make any cabinet maker proud. Right so. Each part is a custom-made, unique one-off. Some parts receive their glossy paint or varnish right here in the workshop. Floorboards are fitted with the preferred material chosen by the owners. Everything is pre-produced, marked and stored up until it's due for fitting inside the boat. We proceed to visit a boat that is a step further in the production process. With all structural parts fitted, all bulkheads and the floor units installed, it's time for piping, wiring and the installation of all electric and electronic parts. A team of electricians is standing half buried under the deck to fit the complex technology. Industrial-grade macerator bilge pumps, for example, all the wiring needed to power the different systems from lighting to air conditioning to pumps and computers. An Oyster is a top-notch luxury yacht. It takes the comfort level while sailing to a whole new dimension. Therefore, large battery banks consisting of high-quality lithium batteries are installed, as well as modern diesel generators and, upon wish by the owner, solar power capacity. As I am particularly interested in electronics and electric installation, Richard takes me to the back of the production again to show me the prefab for the Oyster looms. It's a very interesting place. The whole wall is covered with a huge loom board where any cable loom for any Oyster type can be accurately manufactured. A simple but ingenious system that makes sure that each backbone has the exact needed length. Furthermore, the looms are all connected to the main panel, electrified and tested here thoroughly. This makes sure that the electric installations will arrive complete, exactly precise and working flawlessly at the boat when due to be fitted. Nice! After the furniture had been fitted and all machinery, auxiliary tech and fittings have been built into the boat, the hull deck joint is made. I've produced a complete film of the hull deck marriage of my own yacht. But back to Oyster. With almost everything installed now, the boat moves further and further in production. They cannot really tell me for sure how many individual parts an Oyster is made of, but I guess there are hundreds, if not thousands. Down below, as the equipment is completely installed, more and more furniture will be fitted, eventually covering up the whole high-tech machinery behind panels, cupboards and paddings. Up on deck, fittings, pad eyes, winches, steering posts and wheels are installed, along with the iconic cat-eye windows of the raised saloon and the 3 vertical seascape windows, which make an Oyster stand out from the crowd and define their outward appearance. Now, all the principal fitting and installation work has been done. The yacht is due for its final big production step here in the shipyard, the varnish and paint job. No boat is like the other, so according to the timber type chosen, the cut and grain style and even the wish for either shiny glossy painted surfaces or a more matte finish, the joinery of an Oyster is lacquered inside the boat. I am purely astonished seeing the complexity of wrapping and masking alone. A crew of 3 to 5 master painters takes about the full week to meticulously work to cover all non-painted parts in the boat. This is done behind protective cardboard paper and yellow masking tape. Between 5 and 9 layers of varnish in various concentrations will later be spray painted to these areas. After everything has been dried completely, all the nice panels, paddings, garments, cushions and other elements can be installed and brought aboard. Everything comes together in these final steps of production. Before an Oyster leaves for commissioning, she receives her bottom paint. This of course consists of several layers of epoxy primer and the anti-fouling chosen by the owner that makes most sense for the later sailing areas the boat will be roaming. After weeks and months of production, another brand new Oyster is finished, and she's ready for commissioning. This of course is a topic for the next film, as I will follow the production at Oyster Yachts and visit the legendary Fox's Marina in Ipswich, where I will not only see what it takes to commission a luxury yacht sail ready for the owners, but also sail an Oyster 675 and finally come to test how much fun it is to actually sail such a boat. Hit the subscribe button and stay tuned for the second exciting episode. If you like to read more and see the Oyster production at Wroxham with many more detailed and dozens of pictures, click on the links in the description to my blog. Thanks Richard for the amazing tour at Oyster Shipyard in Wroxham, and thanks for watching this video.